the age of iron and stone, in a time when the land was ruled by lords and kings, there lived a man named Edric. His life, marked by strife and turmoil, began as a lowly slave, bound in chains to the service of a cruel master. The sun-kissed fields of Edric's youth were a place of back-breaking labor, where his days were spent beneath the burning gaze of a pitiless sky. The land was rough and untamed, its wilderness encroaching upon the settlements like a wild beast waiting to reclaim what was stolen. Edric was a tall and sinewy figure, his frame hardened by years of toil. His hair, the color of midnight, hung in loose waves about his weather-beaten face. Eyes the shade of the deep forest held a quiet intensity, a reflection of the indomitable spirit within. His skin bore the scars of the lash, a testament to the cruel realities of his early life. In the dead of night, when the moon was hidden behind a shroud of clouds and the world was cloaked in darkness, Edric made his escape. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth, and the rustle of leaves whispered of secrets long forgotten. He ran, each step a defiance of his past, until he reached the fringes of a great forest. There he encountered a band of soldiers, mercenaries in the employ of a distant king. Seeing the fire in his eyes, they offered him a place among them. Edric took up the sword, exchanging the shackles of servitude for the freedom of a soldier's life. The battlefield became his new home, a place where the clash of steel and the cries of men were the symphony of existence. His comrades were a motley crew, hardened warriors, each with their own stories of loss and survival. Sir Alaric, a knight disgraced and disowned, bore a stern visage, but a heart softened by the sorrow of his fall from grace. There was Ragnhild, a shield maiden from the frozen north, her hair a fiery cascade that matched her fierce spirit. Together they fought in the king's wars, and Edric proved his mettle time and again. The years passed, and Edric became a seasoned warrior. Yet amidst the bloodshed and carnage, he began to see the harsh nature of humankind. The greed and cruelty that drove men to war weighed heavily upon his soul. In the quiet moments after battle, when the smoke cleared and the dead were counted, he would often gaze into the distance, pondering the futility of it all. One day, in a quiet glen far from the tumult of war, Edric made a decision. The sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled shadows upon the ground, and the air was filled with the gentle hum of life. He knew that he could no longer walk the path of the sword. The world, he murmured to himself, is more than the measure of a man's steel. He bid farewell to his comrades and left the army, seeking a life of peace. Edric journeyed to a small village nestled in a valley where the land was rich and fertile. The village was a humble place, its stone cottages adorned with thatched roofs and surrounded by fields of wheat and barley. The air was sweet with the scent of wildflowers and the song of birds. Here he bought a piece of land and set to work building a farm. The soil, dark and rich, promised a bountiful harvest, and the river that wound its way through the valley provided a life-giving source of water. It was in this village that Edric met Eleanor, the daughter of a local farmer. She was a woman of gentle grace, her hair the color of ripened wheat, and eyes as blue as the summer sky. She carried herself with a quiet strength, her hands skilled in the ways of the earth. They worked side by side, tending the fields and raising livestock, their laughter mingling with the sounds of nature. As the seasons passed, Edric found a joy he had never known. The harsh lines of his face softened, and the burdens of his past were lightened by the love he shared with Eleanor. They married in a simple ceremony, witnessed by the village folk, with the sun setting behind the hills in a blaze of gold. "In this land with these hands I have found my peace," Edric whispered to Eleanor as they stood beneath the twilight sky. Their farm flourished, a testament to their hard work and dedication. The fields yielded a bountiful harvest, and the animals thrived. The couple was blessed with children, their laughter filling the air and their joy completing the picture of a life well lived. Edric, once a slave, then a soldier, and now a farmer, had found his place in the world. In the quiet evenings, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the world was bathed in the soft glow of twilight, Edric would sit by the hearth with his family. The warmth of the fire and the gentle murmur of voices filled the room, a stark contrast to the cold and harsh realities of his past. He would often tell tales of his adventures, his voice tinged with the wisdom of experience. Life, he would say, is a journey through storm and sun. We may stumble and fall, but it is the love and peace we find that makes the journey worthwhile. And so, in that tranquil valley, amidst the rolling hills and the whispering trees, Edric lived out his days in peace and contentment. The shadows of his past faded with time, replaced by the warmth of family and the satisfaction of a life well lived. He had found not only peace but also a purpose, cultivating the land and nurturing his loved ones. In the end, it was not the sword, but the simple joys of a humble life that brought him the greatest happiness.